Oh, baby. If that is a precursor of things to come, we are in for some heart palpitations. Game one goes the Avalanche way. They did everything in their power to win this game, and eventually they did. But man, game one against the St. Louis Blues, round two, they needed overtime to do it, and we all had Josh Manson winning this thing in overtime. The Avs dominate this game, but like we said, they needed overtime to do it. A lot to talk about, so let's jump right in.
Your Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome aboard, Avalanche Nation, to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. Thank you for making this your first listen of the day. That's always appreciated. Follow the show on social media outlets, LOPN_Avalanche on Twitter, Locked On Avalanche on Instagram. Questions, comments, Locked On Avalanche on Instagram. Did I say that right? I don't know. The endorphins are still flying, so I don't know if I said that right. Questions, comments, concerns, opinions, lockedonavalanche@gmail.com, and follow the show on our YouTube channel over on YouTube. Hit subscribe, get notified when a new show goes live. All right, Kyle, this was how you wanted the Avalanche to come out playing when you don't play for a week. We had that rest versus rust conversation, which we were all in agreement. Maybe there'll be a couple minutes of that. There was none of it. The Avalanche pretty much picked up where they left off in terms of the style of play, carried right over from the Predators to the Blues. And this was like game two of the Predators series, where the Avs were in complete control of this game pretty much from beginning to end. You could say really when the second period kicked in is when it was nothing but Avs. But they couldn't get anything past Jordan Binnington. And we kind of rag on him a lot on this show for good reason. But you have to give him a ton of credit for keeping the Blues in that game. And it was one of those games where you're just like, even though the Avs are dominating, all the Blues need is something to go their way, and this game is over. But it didn't happen. The Avs finally get the overtime winner from Josh Manson in overtime, and they're up 1-0. What a game.
Yeah, and that was something we mentioned in the Locked On Avalanche Twitter Spaces. By the way, if it's a game day, follow us on Twitter. We're over there. Come join us. I said immediately, the rest versus rust debate, take all your talking points, crumple it up, throw it away. That Avalanche tempo and performance and dominance, honestly, wire to wire. Like, the Blues scored first, and they were the last one in regulation to even it up. But the Avalanche just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and you felt confident, even when the score was tied up, that the Avalanche were walking out of there with a win. Even with Binnington starting to get hot midway through the game, you felt really good about the Avalanche chances. And the unlikely hero to take us home, that was unexpected, but you felt really good about the performance from everyone on the team.
Yeah, I mean, you felt good about their chances of winning because they were getting tons of chances and just one had to get through, and that's what happened. But the same can be said for the Blues. Not that they were in control of the game by any stretch of the imagination, but like I said earlier, they just needed something. They needed a puck to bounce or get past a defender, and then you have, like Mark Stone did last year in the playoffs, like they just needed something like that to happen. They had a few looks. I haven't checked it again because we're recording right after the game's over. I thought I heard the Avs in overtime. Yeah, it's true. 13-0.
Oh, 13.
In overtime.
Yeah.
Shots on goal. 13-0. And they scored that goal 8 minutes in? What? I mean, to get 13 shots on goal in the first 8 minutes of the overtime session and to hold them to 0, it continued into the overtime session. The way that nothing changed for the Avs from how they were playing in regulation to overtime. And that is exactly what sometimes you loosen up or tighten up a little bit because it's the playoffs. Did not happen for Colorado.
And it's one of those that There was 54 shots in regulation. Like, honestly, if you shoot that much and the amount of posts, like,
oh man,
we could have a whole nother podcast about the posts in this game. It could be a 7-2 game easily.
Easy.
And that means you're getting good shots. It's not like if you're hitting the post, that means you're hitting the mark. You're getting close. You're right there. So that dominance to carry all the way over into overtime, again, throw the rust conversation out. This Avalanche team is built different this year, and they're on a mission.
Yeah. Well, you give up the goal to Ryan O'Reilly. Not the best looking goal or leading to the Ryan O'Reilly goal. Like, Cale Makar didn't really get, it was kind of a lazy attempt at a clear, but it kind of ping-ponged off a couple people and got behind him to O'Reilly, who had a very nice backhand, roofed it on Kemper. Okay, fine. You're down. But at the end of the first, you're down 1-0. And again, I put this up on Twitter. Like, you hit 3 posts, I think, in the first period. You had the puck roll off the stick of JT Compher. Like, you're beating them.
Yeah.
Like, you have so many opportunities that just haven't gone in yet. So after the first, I felt fine because you got those pucks behind Binnington. They just pinged. I can live with that. They're generating chances. And then what happened? They get into the second, and those things they go in. At least the 2 of them did. But when you spot, or when the Avalanche spot anybody a goal that early in the game, that doesn't faze them at all. They have all game to come back on that and to at least get an equalizing goal. I will take those chances 100 times out of 100. And O'Reilly scored 6 minutes in, 6:25 in. And you don't want that to happen. You want to get that first goal, but it happened, and I don't think anybody was panicking like, "Oh my God, the Avs are going to get shut out tonight."
And honestly, we talked about the posts and it being possibly 7-2. If EJ would have actually got a good handle on that one shot, it would have been 8-2. The one that was early. The quote-unquote highlight reel save, Binnington had better saves later in the game. But EJ just didn't get a good handle, didn't get a good shot at the net, and he robbed it. And when Ryan O'Reilly did score that, I made the comment, like, is this what the Avalanche are going to face? Matt Duchene being the only source of scoring in the Predator series, and then Ryan O'Reilly for the Blues? Like, it's just like
Callie Rosen's next, right?
It's we talked about it being a Scott Pilgrim versus the world scenario. The evil X's are just going to be in the way the whole playoffs. But no, and when Val Nichushkin ended up opening up the scoring for the Avalanche, that was top line versus top line. And if our top line can score on yours, that's basically where the production's coming from St. Louis, especially last night. If you can make go best on best and score on their best, you feel good about the rest of the series.
And you saying that made me think there was a moment, and it was late in the third, and Tarasenko just collected a puck along the boards. It was nothing, just regular cycling of plays. And I was like, there's a name I haven't heard all day.
Yeah.
And I'm looking his stats up right now. He didn't register a shot on goal. Vladimir Tarasenko, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points, -1. No shots on goal. Played almost 19 minutes. And here we are talking about the depth of these two teams and how they're kind of evenly matched in that regard. This thing was all Avalanche. It was all Colorado. And that Val Nichushkin goal, I mean, first of all, you're getting pumped up because it was an equalizing goal. They needed that one. They got on the board. But his reaction to it, he's usually a calm, docile guy. He was fired up. So not only were you fired up because they scored, when you saw his reaction, you were like, oh, this is go time. Let's do this thing. And that's what the playoffs brings out in people. Even calm, cool, collected guys like Val Nichushkin just rage.
And it's funny, you talk about Val's reaction. I think all of the Avalanche fans are feeling that same reaction. We just made St. Louis look like Nashville that whole series. We spent time and time talking about this could be close. This is a tricky team. Vladimir Tarasenko win nothing. That's dominance.
Yeah.
And it's speaking a lot to how this Avalanche team is like built. And even Landeskog in the press conference saying rust is a zero factor. We see it now.
Yeah. So more to get to with this game. We'll talk about, how Binnington kept them in this game. And if you get another performance like that from the Avalanche, do you expect another repeat performance like from Binnington? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Darcy Kemper, his first game back since the eye injury suffered in the Predators series. And of course, we have a sound check to get to a little bit later. So, but let's hear from rockauto.com. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts that you need. So why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing the only brand that their warehouse happens to carry, when you have a computer with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket? Save time and money when using Rock Auto. It's a family-run business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. The prices at Rock Auto are reliably low for every customer, so go explore their easy-to-use website today to find the solution to your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now. See all the parts available for your car or truck. Right Locked On in the How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you to them. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com. After game 2 in round 1 against the Preds, when you had Ingram pretty much performing like Binnington, and it was a close game that the Avalanche obviously pulled out, we were talking about, if you get that performance again from the Avalanche, especially against a rookie goalie, you would take that. And it happened in game 3. They kind of blew them out. In game 4 was a little bit closer, but in the end, they hung, I think, 5 goals on them, right, in game 4.
Yep.
Binnington is obviously not a rookie, and he played very well in round 1 against Minnesota. That's why he's starting right now. And he kept them in this game. Avs with 54 shots on net. I think they had something like 9. I don't know if they pushed 100 like total shots.
Yeah.
It was in the 90s. I know that.
Because iron, if they go off the post, it doesn't count as a shot on goal.
No, it does not. So they just, if you're looking at, I can bring it up quickly too, like, Corsi, which tracks that stuff, just anything shot towards the net, you're probably looking very close to 100. I'm going to bring that up close. But, if the Avalanche keep playing, like if this is a carbon copy, if game 2 is a carbon copy of game 1 in that the Avs are that dominant, can you expect this game 2 to go to overtime? Or do you think it's just, being Jordan Binnington's shoes? And it's like, yeah, I can do this once. You're expecting me to do this 7 times? That can weigh on a goalie after a little while. He's going to need some help from his defense.
Yeah, and you would expect the defense to bail him out. And honestly, if we had this exact same performance in game 2, there's not going to be the same amount of posts. There's not going to be the EJ shot. There's not going to be the cross crease kind of like fumble and like Binnington standing on his head. Instead of 3-2 going to overtime, it's going to be another 5-6-2, maybe 1. You might take the soul out of St. Louis in Ball Arena. Like, honestly, you hope the Avalanche can do this again. And if you're looking at their track record in the playoffs so far, you almost expect it at this point.
So, according to Natural Stat Trick, for Corsi 4, the Avalanche were at 98. 98 to the Blues 41. That is a 70.5 percentage of Corsi 4, which means of all the shots taken, 70% of them came from the Avalanche. When you go to the Fenwick does not count blocked shots. They were at 73. So the Blues blocked a lot of shots. Was that 25 shots that they blocked? But that still equates to a 73 Fenwick for, a 30 Fenwick against, which still comes out to 71%. So usually those are close in percentages, but just because one doesn't count blocks, those shots will be a little bit less. But still, including just for the Fenwick, that's still 73 shots you got towards the net. And some people like the Fenwick a little bit more because it doesn't count the blocks. So, if you want to focus on that one, 73 shots got through in one fashion or another. That's dominant. That doesn't happen.
And it's all, honestly, it's matchups. It's how the Blues play defense. It's more collapsing. When things go wrong, they get right in Binnington's pocket. And the Avalanche will, if you back up and give them a shot, they're going to take it all day long.
Yep. I thought Darcy Kuemper played a good game. It was his first game back. They were a couple times in the beginning. Camera angles were focusing in on his eyes. I get it, and you could tell one is a little bit. You get hit there and you get scratched there. It's gonna take a little while to completely heal and look like it's healed.
Yeah.
For now, it was like a little bit squinted. But it didn't seem to affect him that much. I think he played a really good game. I do wish he stopped that one late in the third.
Yeah.
Is it Kyrou, right? Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
I mean, it was Kyrou was going for like the toe drag, and it kind of got interrupted. I think it was either Girard or it might have been Manson. Because the Avs were coming on a line change, and they were on a penalty kill, and they just overcommitted. And it was a very nice move by Kyrou, but he didn't get everything on it. And I think that's a shot that Kemper's got to stop, especially in that situation. But other than that, I thought he looked good.
Positionally, he looked great.
Yeah,
he wasn't floating all over the crease. He wasn't like Binnington was playing a lot of the puck in the trapezoid. Kuemper didn't do any of that. He didn't act frantic or puzzled or like he was trying to get back in the rhythm. He was ready to go.
Yeah. So, but he did. I mean, he gave that one up, but like you said, positioning was great. He was great. And then you go into overtime, and I'm still baffled by the 13-0 in like 30 seconds.
Darcy Kuemper had a lawn chair back there.
Yeah. And you had some good opportunities. Nichushkin had a golden opportunity off a rebound, just, didn't go in. And, I mean, Josh Manson, of all people. And you saw it was Sammy G, who, by the way, we have to give credit for that. Not to me, to my man Sammy, for scoring that one. I mean, He played a good game. He did have that one turnover in the offensive zone, but I will give more credit to the Blues. I don't know who it was. Sammy G was going for a backwards pass, which everybody would have done in that scenario, and the Blues player just read it well and picked it off and went in the other direction. But I thought, my thinking was he just can match up better with the Avs against this Blues team. And I thought he played a good game.
And you could see it in his confidence. He was putting himself in plays. He was shooting. The La Tornade was there. He was cycling around. Like, you could see his confidence because he feels like he could contribute because of the way the Blues play. And to see Sammy G stepping up, and to see the Avalanche not commit to like chippiness that you saw in the first period, like Darren Helm going after weird, just off camera, like extra checks, the same with Manson and Landeskog, and them not commit to that and still keep it a relatively clean game.
If you haven't checked the stats yet, I will give you one guess as to how many shots on goal Sam Girard had.
5?
7.
Ooh.
7. And there's only one player who had more, and that shouldn't be too difficult to guess who that was.
Is that Nuke?
In Nathan MacKinnon.
Oh.
Who had 8. So
hey.
Sammy G was firing. And yeah, when you get a goal and in that fashion, it's puts you in the lead. your confidence is going to instantly grow. Still had a couple mistakes, but everybody does. That is the game of hockey. Mistakes are going to be. In fact, on the drop back pass that got intercepted, the Blues went straight down the ice. They kind of dumped it in, and Kemper collected the puck and tried to clear it, and that puck got knocked down as well. So 2 bad plays on the same play. So I'm just bringing that up to say, like, yeah, mistakes happen. It just seems like they get amplified more when Sam Girard does it because he's in everybody's doghouse right now. But you have to give him credit for how he played last night. He played great. So did Bowen Byram.
Yeah.
Bo Byram was so in control whenever he was so calm. Like, it's like, I was just in awe. He wasn't like this, oh my God, he's making these incredible plays. But I honestly just felt comfortable when he had the puck on his stick. I thought he played a great game.
Yeah, Bowen Byram looked great. He contributed. His effort was just unmatched. You honestly felt like he was going to get a goal in that game. Just the way he was playing.
Yeah.
And I want to double back on your point about Sam Girard and his mistakes and being in the doghouse. For anyone who wants to get critical of Sam Girard and his play and saying he has these lapses, Cale Makar did the exact same thing, which led to goal number 1. So if you're going to get on Sam Girard, you must get on Cale Makar, which we never do because he's Cale Makar. He's our babyface angel. No, Sam Girard had a great game, had a goal. Cale Makar did not have a goal, made the same mistake. Yeah. So if you're going after Sammy G, you got to start with the grade 8.
It's only fair. It's only fair to, call out Cale Makar when he makes a bad play, but those are few and far between when he does. But so that kind of just amplifies it even more when he does make a mistake. But you're right. You're right. So, all right, let's hear from Built Bar and then get to our game 1 sound check. So, Built Bar, you know it and you love it, and get those birthday cake puffs. I'm checking in with Kyle. Are they gone yet?
They were. I had 2 during the game.
Oh, okay, and that's it. And then you're out. Or do you have?
Oh no, I have like maybe
more?
3 more.
All right. Well, the Built Bar Puffs are officially Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan's favorite Built Bar flavor. Whether it's the puffs or the regular bars, they're his favorite. They have 150 calories, 16 grams of protein, and only 9 grams of sugar for this limited time flavor. We don't know when they will be gone or if they are ever going to come back. So I wouldn't wait any longer and go order some now. If you like the puffs, they are the first ever marshmallow protein infused protein bar. So if you're a marshmallow fan, I think it's pretty much a no-brainer for you. So you can go to built.com, use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. Once again, the promo code is LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. We have a sound check to get to. Haven't done well. We did one. We didn't announce it, but we did one on social media where we just kind of got ready for for round 2. But this is our first one that we're recording within the episode in a while, which seems like a while. It's almost been a week, but if you're new to the show, our sound check is Kyle and I pick a song from our vast array of Spotify, basically, and a song that best summarizes each game the Avalanche play, win or lose. And you can follow this playlist. We add all these songs to the LOPN Soundcheck playlist over on Spotify. So go give that a follow. What do you got for round 2, game 1 against the St. Louis Blues?
He hails from Hinsdale, Illinois.
Who does?
Oh, the greatest American hero, Josh Manson. That's why our sound check is the theme song for the greatest American hero.
How can you beat that? How can you beat that? I mean, that was like...
Believe it or not, I'm walking. We're getting DMCA'd, but here we go.
I always think of... Well, you're a Seinfeld guy. I always think of George Costanza.
Where could I be?
Where could I be? I want that for my voice, but nobody leaves voicemails anymore. We talked about this on King's podcast.
That's right.
Yeah. For me, I'm kind of going down the hero road with you. And I put a song, this is a while ago, by a band called Beast in Black, who are this like just fantastic, like you would think they're from the 80s, like the 80s metal, but like today.
Yeah.
And the song that's already on the sound check is the Rocky theme from Rocky 4.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I'm drawing a blank on it.
It's
I got it. No Easy Way Out. So, you know, the Soviet when he's in Russia.
Yeah, when he's doing the training.
Oh, dude.
I sing it all the time going up and down stairs.
It's the best video montage in movie history. So they covered that. This is on the same album. The album is called From Hell with Love. But it's the very first track on the album. No Easy Way Out is the last track. So this is the first one. I'm like bookending this album.
Hey.
But this song is called Cry Out for a Hero. And that is Josh Manson to a T. I mean, this is what I love about the playoffs, especially playoff hockey. You have guys like look at the love that Jake Ottinger's getting right now.
Yeah.
Completely warranted. And you know, you knew he's the future of the Stars, but that was his coming out party. And now now the expectations are through the roof for him for next year. But that's next year for him. And for the Avalanche, like you need guys like you're always going to have Cale Makar getting these goals, these overtime goals, and Nathan, the regular players. But when you have someone like Josh Manson, who you got at the trade deadline to shore up the defense, to be a beefy body, you know what I mean? For him to come through in playoff overtime hockey and get the game winner, that is a hero.
Yeah. And like those heroes, like in playoffs, like Joel Ward for the Sharks, and remember how big the HBK line was for Pittsburgh? Like they were names that lasted for that period in time, and then after that, it was kind of it. So could this be Manson's one time of like being a hero? Can he continue it? We'll find out.
Yeah. Well, like Sammy G, like you saw all the confidence in the world. And not that Manson was lacking it, but, you know, goals just, you know, make that intensity level go up for players, especially ones that don't score a ton. So, yeah, we'll see. All right. So, obviously, you know, the Avs are off on Wednesday. Then they pick up game 2 on Thursday. What are you thinking here? Where's this thing going? What's your kind of prediction for game number 2?
You know, I want to say, like, I have hesitation. Will there be a calm down? Nothing has gotten in this Avalanche way. The rest didn't stop them. Like, this is like, it's like we played Nashville yesterday, even though it was 8 days.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't anticipate any letdown whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to believe that the way this team has played for 5 games now, that they would do that. And, you know, I said it. We do these like short videos that Locked On puts out, and this is so far a carbon copy of last playoffs. The first 6 games you won. You know, right now you're at 5. So even winning this game again, you know, as an Avalanche fan, you're not sitting here saying like, yeah, they're playing the best hockey that they have played since January, the entire month of January. But we're not sitting here punching our ticket to anywhere, because there's still a long way to go and a lot of work to do. And knowing what happened last year, nobody is taking these wins for granted. None.
No, it's all like, you're not talking about, well, let's handle this, and we got this on the horizon, and who will we face in the East? No. It's next game mentality. Like, you did great here. Let's do it again. Yeah. And then when you and then do it again. It's just the do it again mentality. Just go in, do your job, go home.
This is how you want to start it. You know, like you always want that first game in a series. It just makes you feel good, and you're not always pressing if you're down and just trying to even up the series. You have home ice advantage, and as of right now, you have kept that. So we'll see what happens. But Kyle and I will be back tomorrow. we might be doing the crossover. That's still up in the air with the guys from the Blues. So again, if you listen, and yesterday we were talking about how we're trying, it possibly could happen tomorrow. If it does, awesome. If not, you got Kyle and I again for whatever we feel like talking about in the day off. For that's going to really wrap it up. So once again, thank you for making this your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. Make sure you go check out Locked On NHL for your second listen of the day. Get caught up on the other game that happened, that Panthers and Tampa Bay game, which was entirely one-sided. Both games, one-sided. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for tuning in. Always appreciated. He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan, and I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. What a way to start. We'll see you guys tomorrow.